All right, so we're going to get right into it. At this point, the stencil has already been made. It's already been measured and placed on the skin. Station's ready, and we're just going to go right into the red ink.
So why are you starting with the red ink?
Usually when you have a stencil, it's usually done, in blue. The last thing you want to do is start the blue ink, and then you finish all the blue, and then you put on the next stencil, which later on you'll see. And it's very difficult to decipher the difference between what's already been done as far as the blue ink and being able to see your blue stencil. So it's better to just do the red first. So when you put on the stencil later on, you'll be able to see the difference between the red ink and the blue stencil, so you won't get confused. It's just easier for you later on.
So basically what you're doing is the outline of any tattoo would be the same as the outline of this 3D tattoo.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing right now. All we're doing is just any regular standard outline that any tattooist would know how to do. It's just regular standard procedure at this point. We're just banging out just the outline.
So now that you're done with the red outline, what's next? What are you doing here?
Well, at this point, what I'm doing is I'm cleaning off the tattoo with regular distilled water, actually. I make it a point not to use green soap. Green soap has alcohol in it. It's an abrasive. What you really want to do is you really want to not irritate the skin. You want to do everything that you can to prevent the skin from being too irritated. So I like to use distilled water.
And what was that you were just putting on the tattoo?
That actually is numbing cream. I do use numbing cream while I do these 3D tattoos. A particular kind of numbing cream, I've been using it for many years. It's Sustain by Face and Body. Face and Body Professionals, actually, you can go on their website. Sustain Blue Gel, it works perfectly. It's a type of numbing cream that you can actually place onto skin once you've already done an outline. It works on broken skin. I prefer actually that numbing cream over the type of numbing cream that you put on the skin that you let it sit for an hour. I don't initially like really using that type of numbing cream. It's an entire hour that you kind of gotta like sit and wait around, and then that the effect of the numbing cream doesn't really last as long as I need it to. With Sustain Blue Gel, as long as you get an outline in there, just one pass with the numbing cream and it lasts up to 2 hours.
It sounds like a giant save for anyone whose pain tolerance is kind of low.
It really is. I mean, it really just takes the edge off. You know, it's not going to numb you out 100% completely, but enough that you're able to take the full tattoo.
So that helps you now in the second part of the first tattoo, I guess. Now you're shading?
Right. At this point, I'm just, again, shading in like any other tattoo now that the outline's done. But the client herself was even telling me that she didn't feel anything once I started doing the shading, because it's not just the open area that's numbed out, it's the immediate surrounding areas of the lining that's also numbed out. So, you know, if your pain tolerance, let's say if the pain was at a 10, the numbing cream would bring it down to like a 4. If it was at a 5, it would bring it down to like a 1.
So you've seen that using this numbing cream, this particular numbing cream, you've been able to tattoo longer because of someone maybe dealing with the pain a lot better?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, I know that there is that stigma of, you know, like, oh, you should earn your tattoos and, you know, pain is part of the process. But, you know, it's the 2021, you know, like at this point, it's not those huge, you know, burly bikers, those tough guys that are getting tattoos. You know, everyone's getting tattoos and not everyone's pain tolerance is the same. You know, if I can bang out a really nice tattoo with the person just relaxed and having a good time, maybe I'll put on music, television with as minimal pain as possible. It's just going to benefit everybody. I'll be able to get, you know, a client who's sitting still. I'll be able to get a great picture at the end because the numbing cream also takes away, you know, any sort of redness or irritation. And, you know, it's just a good thing, you know, all around.
All right. So Face and Body is something that works.
Yeah. Face and Body Professionals, Sustain Blue Gel. That's the product that I used. I wouldn't use anything on anybody that I haven't used on myself or have been using for a long time. I've actually been using their product for almost 10 years, actually. Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was talking about. All I basically did was I took a paper towel and I dipped it into my cup, which is filled with distilled water. So all I did was just put a wet paper towel on the skin. You know, distilled water soothes the skin. It's able to clean off the area. Again, no green soap, just distilled water. So putting that cool paper towel really does help cool off the skin, and it does feel a lot better.
You can actually see that there's not that much irritation on the skin too.
Right. Again, between that numbing cream and using regular distilled water, that's the numbing cream that I was talking about. I've cleaned it with distilled water, cooled it down, put on the numbing cream, you know, feeling good.
Now this isn't numbing cream.
That is not numbing cream. This is actually a stencil applicator. So I'm making sure that the skin is damp. You know, it's not completely saturated in stencil applicator, it's damp. So I'm just prepping her right now for the next stencil.
And when you put this stencil on, it's not interfering with the first tattoo in any way.
No, not at all. People have asked me, do you do one tattoo and then do the other one after? I don't. I actually do both tattoos in one sitting.
So this is all one session, basically the 3D tattoo, both the red and the blue is one tattoo.
Correct. It's one session. We just completed the red ink. She's been numbed out. We've been like I said, we have been taking care of the skin using the numbing cream, using the distilled water, making sure that her skin has been being very taken care of.
So now I see what you meant about starting the red first because your stencil's still blue.
Right.
So if someone starts with the blue and they put the stencil on, they're like losing their tattoo.
Yeah, dude, right away you can tell because I did the red ink first, you can see the difference between the red ink and your blue stencil, so it's much easier for you to now start laying down your blues. If I had done the blue ink first, the stencil would have been really difficult. I mean, it's not impossible, but it would have been really difficult for me to decipher what is stencil and what is, already, blue ink put down.
So now we're going to start the blue outline. Is there anything that you have to do differently that you did with the red outline?
Honestly, anybody who tattoos, especially like layers tattoos where you're putting on color on top of color, the skin is already open. We already, put in that red ink. So the ink is already, the needle is already like hitting the skin and the skin is already open. So you really don't need to work in the blue ink too hard. Once the needle hits the skin with that skin already open, the blue just goes right in. That's very important to kind of keep in the back of your mind, because if you hit the skin with the blue the same way that you did with the red, you wind up raising the chances of you chewing up the skin, and you really want to avoid that.
So you're not as aggressive with the blue as you were with the red.
Perfect way to say it. Yeah, I'm not as aggressive. I'm very delicately kind of just putting in my blues right now.
And you can actually kind of see it with the way you touch the skin.
Right.
You're almost like gliding over it and not digging in.
Right. We've been spending so much time on this tattoo so far, making sure that the skin has been really taken care of, being really gentle. The last thing you want to do is just start ramming in the blue in there, and then it just chews up the skin. You don't want it. You want to avoid that as much as possible.
All right. So now we're gonna speed through this, and next will be the shading.
Okay.
Never not, never under yard, never ever, I'm forever on. Check my repertoire, check my repertoire, don't check me not. Let's just checks involved. I've been feeling like I'm next to God, next to God, next to God. Never not, never under yard, never ever, I'm forever on. Check my repertoire, don't check me not. Let's just checks involved. I've been feeling like I'm next to God, next to God, next to God. Never fold, never ever fold, never ever stone a rolling stone till I'm in Rolling Stone. Bet I'm close to gold, need a place, need a safer bank. I've been saving change, I need some space. Chatting in my face, get from around my way. Ay, what you saying, where you at now? I swear that once I leave my city, never coming back down. Went from pushing tapes to glowing up around the map now. Real hot summer, keep my cool, I never act out. Ay, yes indeed, recognize what you want may not be what you need. Won't take control of me, but I got mouths to feed. Hustle smart, not hard to still get it by any means. Please, never not, never under yard, never ever, I'm forever on. Check my repertoire, don't check me not. Let's just checks involved. I've been feeling like I'm next to God, next to God, next to God. Never not, never under yard, never ever, I'm forever on. Check my repertoire, don't check me not. Let's just checks involved. I've been feeling like I'm next to God, next to God, next to God. Had to get it by myself.
So now that you're done with the outline, you're cleaning the skin again.
Right, again with distilled water. There's no green soap. I mean, you can't. I've heard of tattooists using witch hazel, which is fine, but I'm just not a fan of using green soap during a process like this because it does irritate the skin.
All right, and I see you're applying more numbing cream.
Right, at this point. See, the thing is with that particular numbing cream, you can use it as many times as you want. There's no way you can OD with this numbing cream. I just like to use the numbing cream between steps. You know, I'll use it after the outline, then I'll use it after the shading, the next outline, I'll use it again. You know, by the time you're getting towards the end of the tattoo where the arm is just feeling raw, the area is feeling raw, you don't feel anything but possibly just a paper towel.
So the client right now is probably so numbed out, and you really don't have any downside to using too much of the numbing cream.
No, not at all. Like I said, I've been using this numbing cream for almost a decade, and I haven't had anyone having any allergic reactions. I haven't had anybody having any major issues. In fact, no issues at all, really. The only issue that they have had, which is not even an issue really, it's just kind of common sense, is that the numbing cream works so well that the tattoo, even after it's done, is still numbed out for 2-3 hours. But once the numbing kind of like the effect goes away, you feel it hurts. You know, it's kind of like, you know, like if you had any cut on your body and you used any sort of application that numbs out, whatever, as soon as that numbing, you know, wears off, that pain comes back.
All right. And now you're starting the shading of the blue. Is there anything different that you do with the shading of the blue that you did with the red?
No, not at all. I mean, we flew through the blue outline again because the skin is already kind of open and ready to accept that ink, so we didn't have to work it in there. It's the same exact concept of the blue shading.
I'm almost completely amazed. You're almost at the end of this tattoo and there's zero irritation. There's no redness to the skin.
Right, we really painstakingly made sure that as soon as we started this tattoo, all the way to now, that we used regular distilled water with the combination of the numbing cream, Face and Body Professional Sustained Blue Gel, combination of using just regular A&D ointment. As you can see, again, even all the way to the end, I'm cooling the skin down with distilled water. It really does help to make sure that the client had a much better experience. It helps with making sure that you get a good picture or video, towards the end. There are a lot of products out there that will help you do this, but me personally, I think the combination when I do my 3D tattoos of distilled water, Sustained Blue Gel, and A&D is perfectly fine to make sure that the tattoo comes out as best as you possibly can with little to no irritation, so you can get those pictures, so you can get those videos.
This is actually kind of funny because it almost looks like she didn't even get tattooed today.
I've had people tell me that. They look at a tattoo and they're just like, dude, this looks like, she's already had it for it. And I was like, no, this is fresh. And also keeping in mind that she didn't just get one tattoo. She got one tattoo and then got a completely other tattoo on top of that tattoo. So, she, numbing cream and distilled water and everything aside, she took her tattoo like a champion. But yes, this is actually 2 tattoos on top of one another in one sitting.
And look at that. Even after wiping it, no irritation. It looks brand new. It looks like her skin at the beginning of the video looks just like it at the end.
Right, I attribute it to how well we took care of the skin. We gave it some TLC, and of course, Mom's tattoo ink, which I use, is what I used to use these 3D tattoos.
Now this next step, I've seen tattoo artists wrap in saran wrap their tattoos. What is this that you're wrapping it in here?
This is Saniderm. It's an adhesive wrap that goes onto the tattoo. I'm a big fan of Saniderm. It's actually key to making sure that these 3D tattoos have the highest chance of healing. What I'm doing right now is I'm giving her first application of Saniderm. The skin is 100% completely dry. I've cleaned it off with distilled water. I did not put any A&D ointment on it right now. It's totally dry. You do not want to trap any A&D ointment or anything like that underneath this adhesive wrap. 1, it won't stick, and 2, even if it did, it could cause some irritation later on. So right now it's just dry. We're gonna put this Saniderm on. We're gonna leave this on for 24 hours, take it off, put on another application of Saniderm the exact same way. And we usually essentially can leave that on for anywhere between 2 and 3 days. I usually don't need to have them keep it on further than that.
So does this show the Saniderm? Does it help with keeping the tattoo? I'm not going to say fresh, but it holds the color well.
It immensely helps. It bypasses the flaking, it bypasses the scabbing. You don't need to worry about applying too little or too much ointment or Aquaphor or whatever it is that you use afterwards. You just put the Saniderm on and it just, it expedites the healing.
All right, and now this is an end credit that you got going on here.
Yeah, I like to give, with all of my 3D tattoos, I like to give my clients free 3D glasses. I even give them up to 3 different styles that they can choose from like a nerdy pair, the cool guy, Oakley type pairs, or even these really big visor ones. She's cool. She chose the nerdy pair. I gave her a big visor one. I think they're more durable.
All right, and then that's our tattoo.
Yeah, no, I was happy to do it, and I hope in the future more people will look into getting this and learning how to do it as well.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Rob Rodriguez.
Thanks for having me.